All right.
Yeah, it should be good.
Yeah.
Well, this pit stop is brought to you by Metrex. The Super Cookie Crunch. Only the best.
That's really good.
Only the best when we pit stop. So, well, first weekend's in the books. What do you think?
Good weekend. I'm happy we came up early. We got some good sessions in yesterday.
Yeah, so let's start.
Good weekend.
Yeah, so let's start with yesterday. We're relatively efficient now. We're getting this loading up thing relatively quick and painless, right?
Yep. Yeah, we were loaded up in like 20 minutes.
Literally.
Yeah, 20, 30 minutes. We were loaded on the road.
Literally. So,
2 bikes, gear.
I was still hungover from the night before.
Yep.
Or the morning before, rather. Trying to put that triumph together and fulfill my obligations as a friend. But yeah, it was. I had put it together, running. So we got up to New York Safety Track. What, around 11:30-ish?
Yeah.
Guys let us in for half a day, half session.
Beautiful day.
Beautiful.
70, just sun's out. Nobody was at the track. Just gorgeous day, man.
It was phenomenal. It was a great day. So started up the bikes. I think we did like that first session right before lunch was like a half a session because they had cars out and they were spewing out coolant and oil. I think there was that Toyota MR2.
Yeah, that MR2
blew up. So they had to stop. Basically, they had to cut our session in half, pretty much. But that first one, so I'd gotten out the new Daytona 675, got it off some kid, $3,000. Needs some work. We'll get into that later. But I basically put it together, tires, you name it, brakes. Repainted the fairings because they were in dire need of a painting. A bunch of other little niggles and wiggles, and then that first session took it really easy. It was like, trying to feel the bike, feel out everything. I wasn't pushing it at all, actually. I was just trying to figure out how the throttle was. This is basically my first time riding the bike. So it was already, the environment was already higher stakes than me just kind of putting up and down my driveway in my cul-de-sac over there. So it felt good and whatever. And then as the afternoon progressed, I started getting better, leaning over better. I was feeling the bike more till that last session where I was starting to feel not 100%, but I was already starting to see what that bike can do in terms of corner entry and carrying momentum through the corners, because I was really tossing it in there. Not really, but I was feeling it, right?
Yeah. From the first session to the fourth session, you were definitely faster. It looked like you were more comfortable, leaning in better. Lots of momentum, carrying the speed in the corner. It was nice. And that bike actually surprised me. I didn't ride it, but it surprised me in terms of power. Because whenever we got in the straightaway, I just thought, I still had more power on you because I got the 750. I thought I would kind of either get really close or pull away. And, coming in out of 18, going into the straightaway, we were pretty much the whole way, lined up.
Yeah.
It wasn't like ever, towards the end when you started really moving, it never was like that bike has a lot of torque, it seems. It carries you into the straightaway very nicely, and I couldn't really catch up to you on the straightaway either, so. That
second session where they had, basically the back half of the racetrack had oil or coolant. Basically it had liquid spills that were cleaned up, but basically on every turn in the back there. There was 18, 17, 15. Yeah. So there was what the hell?
I almost fell back there.
Right.
I think back end almost came out of me back there.
So I ran those turns wide, all of them. Every single one I ran wide. Yep. I didn't want to, because the tires are brand new.
Yep.
They weren't even scrubbed in. So I'm like, ooh, not dealing with that. But that last session where kind of everything started, the kitty litter that they put down, or the quick stop or whatever that they put down, kind of cleaned up a little bit, cleared out a little bit. Then as I was taking turn 18 into the straight the way it should be, that tighter line, then I was carrying that momentum, a little more momentum, and also the gear positions too, figuring out what are the optimal gears for that bike. And there's a lot of figuring out I still need to do on that bike to kind of get more comfortable with it. But I also made an adjustment to that to the rebound.
Yep,
this was
a little bouncy.
It was way bouncy.
Yeah, I can see that when I was following you. Kind of was bouncing around a little bit.
So did that, and then I immediately felt a lot better, and I was able to kind of again carry a little more speed through the corners and just kind of just let that bike not coast, but let that bike literally going right in. Yep. So I think it's got a lot of potential. I just I won't segue that just yet, but it's got a lot of potential, I'll tell you that much. So how about your experience on the first day?
Great day. The first day was great. I'm happy we went up early. It was like I was expecting a lot more people to be there.
Me too.
Because it was such a good day. Even the track workers were kind of surprised, like, there's nobody here really, and this is like the day to be here. It's 70 degrees, sun's out.
They do walk-ins, yeah.
So, I was surprised and I had a good time. I haven't been riding, so it took me like a good session to like figure out, like, okay, I'm on a motorcycle right here. I haven't done any street riding, I haven't done much of anything, so it took me a session to kind of figure out shifting. We did go to GP shifting.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
So that his bike is a track-specific bike. I'm building mine to be more track-specific, but his was basically track prep from the beginning.
Safety wire.
The whole thing.
The whole thing.
So his was GP shifting. I was regular shift. So we kind of discussed it. I was like, well, I'll go GP shift just in case we decide to switch bikes. I don't want to have to rejigger my brain to think about switching and up or down or whatever. So if we're gonna swap bikes every so often, it'd be nice to have the same shifting at least. So I did go GP shifting. Great. I mean, I messed up like once, but the good way, or twice really, but the good way. Where I downshifted. I tried to upshift, and it went to a higher gear when I really wanted to downshift. Mm-hmm. So nothing crazy, but it was great. The bike was running great. I got it flash tuned. Before last year, the acceleration was choppy. The bike was very. It seemed like whatever was happening in the throttle, in the combustion and like air and fuel. And
air fuel ratio.
It was not happy. It was very poppy. I get on the gas.
Poppy, yes, poppy is the.
It was.
It's an understatement. More like atomic bomby.
Yeah, that thing was crazy. It was backfiring. And every turn, I would get on it. And there was like a little bit of a lag, like just like waiting for it to like get to it. So I got it flash tuned, and boy, did that make a difference on the bike. It was so much smoother. Like it would carry the speed exactly how I wanted it. I changed the slipper a little bit, so the engine. The engine brake it wasn't as aggressive. It kind of like let me kind of just dive in there. I think the brakes still need some work. I didn't switch them out to the new brakes. I kept the old brakes from last year, so maybe that'll help. I changed out the new brakes, but overall, I mean, the bike was running great. I was feeling good towards the end. I was really moving, getting really tired. That's another thing. I got to work on stamina. I was getting really, really tired, but overall, man, Sunday I had such a good time Sunday. I'm happy we got up there.
Yeah.
I knew that it was going to be worthwhile to at least do a little bit. And to our benefit, it worked out great.
It did work out great to our benefit. It was, and I think the coming Monday, in 2 weeks, where we go back up, come back up, I think we do the same.
Yeah.
We get that afternoon session in.
Yeah.
Get that under our belts, and then weather permitting, obviously, if Sunday's going to look like crap, then whatever. But weather permitting, come up and do that afternoon session to get some time under our belts there. But yeah, the Triumph sounds great. It ran great. So let's fast forward.
His Triumph has a full header exhaust on the way back.
Full.
Sounds really good.
Yeah, it's full. It's really a full exhaust. Yeah. So our buddy has the same bike, model year newer, 06, but he only has the Two Brothers slip-on. Sounds good. It actually sounds really good, but
not as good as yours.
There is a appreciable difference between mine and his in terms of exhaust note.
Yeah, it was really nice.
So let's talk about, as my ears are popping as we're descending this mountain.
I don't know if you guys been to NYST. That's where we were. Great place. I mean, that track is my favorite track. Out of all the tracks, I've been to pretty much all the ones in this area, in the New England area, for the most part.
They're so laid back.
Yeah, and the NYST by far is like the cleanest track in terms of like the pavement. The people are really nice. Like, everybody's just willing to help, you know. They're so laid back. It's like us. It's like me and him owned a track. You know, we'd just be out there riding, enjoying time. You know, having a good time, having friends around.
Yeah.
So I love that track. But it's way up in the mountains.
Yeah.
Way up there.
Out in upstate New York. I'm not going to call it deep upstate New York, but
mid deep. In that area.
Right.
So we're descending
20 minutes east of what I call it Winota, but I guess the locals call it Oneata. It's just how I space out the syllables there, which makes sense. It's O-N-E, Oneota. Yeah, Oneota. Yeah. So, anyways, we digress. So we did stay over in Oneota. So fast forward to Monday. Woke up, cold, raining, wet.
It went from 70 on Sunday to 50 on Monday. Just wet. It rained the whole night. We don't know how much rain.
Rob snored the whole night.
Hey, man.
I couldn't sleep the whole night. Well, maybe like 4 to 3 hours.
I slept great.
Of course you did.
You just gotta wake me up, just throw a pillow. My girl just moves me, or she'll just yell at me.
I'm not gonna fucking move you. I'm just gonna.
I just throw a pillow, and I'll be like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh, my bad."
Yeah, but then you'll snore again. Dude, there were some points where I was like, "Are you all right?" You're like, I'm like, "What the fuck?"
You know, I may have what's that?
Sleep apnea.
Yeah, I may have that. I don't know.
There were some points where I was like, "The fuck."
I may have that. I don't know. I should probably get checked out.
I think you should. I think it was like closer when you were like in deep REM, like you were. Oh boy.
That's why my girl always goes to sleep before I do. She tries to get to sleep first, and then I'll eventually nod off of giving her time.
Yeah. So.
All right, we'll figure that out.
Well okay. Yeah.
amongst the bike issues.
So as glorious as Sunday was, Monday brought just pain. It was just pain.
Yeah, man.
It was.
I've been there. Let me tell you.
Yeah, it was. So, but this is what happens when you purchase an already tinkered with motorcycle, and it was something that when I spoke to you about this earlier in the fall, right, going into the winter, is like I didn't want to go down this route, but in buying something that's been tinkered with and worked on and wrenched on, and you know, and because I'd obviously be inheriting another person's problems or their shoddy work or their work, and not to say that my work is exemplary, but
you know what you did.
Right, I know what I did. Right. So we get to the track. And you know, spirits were high, even though the weather was gloomy. To say the best, it still is gloomy.
Monday's the private day. This is where we're with, like, so he's got a group of friends that he knows. I'm kind of tagging along, and everybody there is just like, you know, really close, really friendly. Everybody's, it's like 30 people, and everybody's knowing each other by names. We're
all screwing around.
So even though it was raining, everybody's like, excited to get out there. It's like, oh, we can't wait. Chit chat. They're back and forth with each other for giggles. So it was just it felt like it was going to be a good day, just to start off.
And so right before the riders meeting, I was like, okay, let me just turn on my bike, get it warmed up, and just kind of get something going here, and nothing.
And we should say, when we bought this bike originally, the guy was having issues starting it. He said, "Oh, the battery's dead." He changed the rectifier. He had changed a few things. He said rectifier, stator, and something else.
Yeah.
He said he was having a hard time starting it. But when we went, we threw it up on the jumpers, and it started right up.
It was his dad that brought that little jump box.
The little jump box. And we started it right up. And the bike started.
And then that whole week,
on and off. It was starting.
That whole week I was working on it. So mind you, I had less than a week to get it all figured out, or halfway figured out.
Right.
And I did. Right, tires, brakes. In that week, I think I'm going to repeat myself. Tires, brakes, the fairings, the steering damper needed a new one. I got a new steering damper. So all of these little odds and ends that you kind of need to do on the bike, I was able to do. And then but every time I started up, no problem. Sunday, phenomenal, started up. And even Sunday night, where we were comparing wee-wees with our exhausts, right? And I was like, turn it on.
Yeah, we're comparing the two Daytonas, and started right.
Mine was louder,
way louder. Sounded great
until Monday, and then mine was just silent, right? So PJ won. So we're 50-50 then. So
So he couldn't start it. We think it has something to do with the water, the rain, because we left the bikes out.
Yeah, we forgot our umbrella or canopy. And we knew it was going to rain, but me being me, I forgot the canopy. And then on top of that, I should have just been like, you even made the comment that we should just put our bikes underneath these tents real quick, and then when we get here, we just wheel them out. And I don't know, I just didn't bat another eyelash. I was like, nah, whatever. And then let's just go home, or let's go to the hotel. And so we're thinking it has something to do with water. We had some guy help us. Not the taller guy, the shorter guy.
We had everybody.
Helping us.
It's like 30 people there, and everybody's just throwing inputs.
Yeah, there were a lot of cooks in the kitchen. There were mad cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, lots of inputs for everybody.
Mad cooks in the kitchen, but there was one gentleman that took the time and helped me trace everything down. So we took first off in the morning, we took a ride to Harbor Freight. We got all sorts of cleaners and brushes to try and figure out if it's the starter relay, or if it's this, or if it's that. Try to clean up all the connections, and we try to bump start it.
We took parts off to all the Daytona.
Yeah, and we tried to bump start it, and it was almost there, but it just didn't want to turn. So, and then we get back and after lunch or whatever, and then this gentleman was helping us, and he was able to, we jumped the starter solenoid, and I guess the bike turns over fine. You heard it, right? It's turning over super fine. So the starter motor isn't bad. It's something to do with the solenoid and how it's talking to both the ECU and the ignition. And the ignition. So I ordered a new one. I'll probably order another one because I'm going to get impatient, see if I can find one that comes in a day or two. And I want to, and hopefully that'll resolve that issue. Because, and this is what I was afraid of with getting a bike like this, where you have to start chasing down these gremlins, especially electrical gremlins, which are the worst.
I've been there. Yeah, and I was trying to tell him like that. The good and the bad to this is, and a lot of you bike people will get this. It's like now this is your bike, and now you're working on it, and you're the one tinkering and doing all the adjustments to it. So you know what you've done to the bike, and you're gonna realize very quickly that once you start messing with things, oh, this is how this goes here,
right?
And then you can quickly go, oh, I know what the issue is, right? Like I've had electrical issues. I spent like a good part of a month just volt checking like every single wire possible because I was getting.
Bro, you completely replaced.
I just changed the whole or the whole wire harness. I said forget this. Like I spent a good month just playing around with it. Actually, probably a good year, and then I changed the whole wire harness just based off of suggestions from other people that are like, listen, you're gonna chase it down forever. A new wire harness was like $100. Took me about 20 minutes to replace it. I regret not doing that from the beginning, just replacing it to begin with. But
yeah,
and I don't think this is gonna be the case for you. I think you're gonna, I think the way the bike is set up, I think it just needs a little bit of love. You're gonna figure it out. You're gonna work through it.
Well, we'll see.
And then just get a voltmeter and then start testing little things here and there. And it'll get there. But once you start working on it, once it becomes yours, I think you'll get a good appreciation for the bike.
Yeah, definitely. But I
get it. It sucks.
It just sucks.
You wanted to ride.
Rain or not, and then those 2 little afternoon sessions where the track was dry and the sun was trying to poke out. Yep. I was like, I wanted to be out there, and everybody offered me like, hey, do you want to ride my bike, this bike? And it's like, thanks, but I kind of want to ride mine because
at that point, like your spirits are down. You spent like the good half of the morning trying to start it. And everybody there was very friendly, very family-like. Yeah. And they're like, yo, take this, take that. You want this? Hey, take the 300. It's faster than your 600. Just everybody was having a good time with it. But I've been there. I've been in that situation where the bike is like you get all the way up there and the bike doesn't want to start, and you're like, I just don't want to do this. I'm done for today. And you know what? I think looking back, we're still grateful that he got to run Sunday.
At least I got to run Sunday.
Sunday was a great day, and if you had to pick up either one of the days to ride, it would have been Sunday. Yeah. Today was wet, and there were puddles.
There were how many? There were a few fell. One guy. It could have been a lot worse. He dumped his 1199.
Yeah.
Panigale.
Right in front of me too. I saw that thing. I saw it from a distance. Like I looked up and I saw it slide off. I was like, oh, that doesn't look good from here.
He said
I came over the crest and I saw.
He said he wasn't even going that fast.
Well, it was just we were talking afterwards because I was telling him, I was like, yeah, you passed right by me. He was like, oh, I'm sorry. I was like, nah, I was trying to warm up my tires. And he goes, that's what I didn't do. That was my first lap out there. And
that was Ted, right?
He was passing me, And I don't think his tires were warming up.
Yeah, because he said he's an expert level rider.
He was a good rider. I mean, just from the 3 seconds that I saw him, he passed me pretty well. He leaned into the corner nicely. But when your tires aren't hot, they aren't hot. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good you are. If you don't got hot tires, man.
Friction.
Yeah.
The friction rules all.
Yeah. No, I think the thing with the track is, traction is king. Like everything you're gonna do on a track is really, a lot of it's dependent on how much traction you can get into these corners.
All of it.
And if you can't, get your tires warmed up before you get out there, you're gonna need to do a lap or two to get them up to temps. Especially if you have a street tire.
Yeah, if you have a dot tire,
right. You want to give yourself at least 2 laps. So all right, let me get some heat under here. Especially on a cold day. Today was cold. It was cloudy. Overall, I mean, today was still a good day for me.
For you, yeah.
I still had fun. The bike was doing well. I'm gonna make some adjustments to my my rear sets. But it was sad that he couldn't get out there and enjoy the day with the group. The group that we were out there with, and just having a good time. But we'll be back for that with that same group.
We'll be back. We'll definitely be back with that same. Well, we will in 2 weeks. We'll be back.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can do the Sunday thing where we'll have everything packed, ready to go. We leave Sunday morning. This time I'll bring the dog, probably if it's campable weather.
Yeah.
I'll put the tent up. Even though that hotel was kind of money.
Was nice, yeah. It was nice, but you know what? Camping is also nice too. I don't mind camping, to be honest with you. It's nice to have a shower and you're sleeping on a bed. I get that, but I also don't mind camping at NYC. When it's a nice weather. The sun, the stars are out, it's a beautiful...
You're on top of a mountain.
You're really up on top of a mountain, and the stars are just...
There's no light pollution, so you just see the stars.
It looks phenomenal. It's something you don't see when you live in a city. So I can really appreciate that. So, kind of being out there under the stars, camping, I don't mind that.
I don't mind it either, especially if I bring Dallas and...
Right.
And this time I have the bed, the trunk, the bed tent, right, for the pickup. Put the air mattress right there, right on top of the bed. You sleep like a king for the most part.
Yeah.
It's so yeah, no, I mean, hey, I got beat down this time by a gremlin. An electrical gremlin, so let's see what happens. So, coming back now, if it's starting raining again, wonderful. So if there's one thing that you want to take that you're taking away to work on, what is it?
Brakes and.
Sorry, let me refine the question. Work on in terms of riding, not bike, not hardware related. Firmware, meaning.
Yeah, I'm still thinking I can brake later, and I'm still thinking I'm having a hard time with my body position. Something is wrong with how I'm leaning into the bike. To your point, you said earlier, maybe just change your pegs, but I'm not leaning as comfortable as I feel like I should be leaning. I don't remember what adjustments I made, but I remember me getting really low on that bike before, and I know it's in the past now, but when I first started riding on that bike, I was really low and really carrying momentum, and I remember really driving through on that bike. So I got to make an adjustment. I don't know what it is just yet. I'm thinking it's the pegs, but something's got to get changed for me. And then I want to brake later. I think that's the big takeaway, because I felt like I could carry more speed and then brake right before the apex and then turn in, as opposed to brake early, let the kind of momentum carry me through the turn and then get on the gas.
Yeah.
I did a lot of that. I did a lot of on the gas, brake, let the momentum carry me to get back on. I think I could just get on the gas all the way, brake really hard, and then get right back on it. As opposed to kind of letting the bike coast. I did a lot of coasting.
You really don't want to let the bike coast. So, for the most part, it's trail braking in, right, initiating the turn, being on the brakes, but still being on the brakes as you're in the turn, and then we hit the apex, right, and then
right back on it,
get on the gas.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are some turns where that necessitate some neutral throttle because they are super long. What is it? It's turn 1, 2, 3. I think it's 4, 5, and 6. It's like
the bowl.
That bowl, right? When you're in that bowl, that uphill bowl.
I literally let off and I let that thing just ride me through the bowl, man. I get on it earlier. I was realizing today, actually, that was another benefit of riding yesterday and it's going up today. I kind of was starting to feel, I was realizing yesterday some of the mistakes I was making today, and I realized I can get on the gas in that bowl way earlier. Mm-hmm. That thing is literally a bowl. It pushes you. It's I I don't know how to really say
it. It just lets your rear tire hook
Yeah,
up.
yeah, it lets it really hook. So I can get on that gas a lot earlier. Even in second gear, for the most part, I was in third, just kind of, just third is the happy place for that bike, in terms of like not being too scary. But I did a few laps in second towards the tail end of today, and I was on the gas really early. And I was like, oh shoot, there's a lot more.
I forgot my easy pass. It's alright. It's told by mail.
Yeah. There's a lot more traction in that bowl than I realized. So, those are little things I'm going to work on, right? Get a little more confident. I wish I could ride my bike a little more on the street. It's not street legal, so I can't do that. But I would like to get on the street a few and, just kind of get my sea legs. That's what I'm going to work on for next time. Be a little more aggressive, a little more confident.
Yeah. Right on. I would say same for me. I think I have two major things to work on. It's carrying more speed in the corner, because I know I can. It's just my, again, it's that confidence issue where I know I can. I'm strong on the brakes. For some reason, I've always been a person that I'm pretty strong on brakes. I'm a late braker. I'm pretty good at trail braking. I just have a little bit of just kind of like a thing for feeling out where the brakes are, and so I got that, and I actually make up a little bit of time on people is on those little braking, harder braking sectors.
And then that's what. So most of the time, I was trailing him. Most of the time, I was behind him, and we had this conversation. I don't know if it was yesterday or today, but when you're in front and you're the one leading and you're open and you're not like,
vision.
Yeah,
it's your vision, because you're able to look and see exactly where you're setting yourself up for the next turn and the turn after. As you're mid-turn, right? You're at the apex of whatever turn it is, and you're already you've been looking to the next turn and where you are.
Right.
And that actually it is so crazy how much that changes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Your pace on the bike.
When somebody's in front of you, and that's another thing I would want to work on is when somebody's in front of me, looking more outside into the turn. Doing my own thing, even though whatever line he's on, if it's not the line I like, I gotta register my brain and not worry about him.
Because I was getting past a lot, because that intermediate group on Sunday was very fast.
Sunday was fast. Today not so much. Sunday, people were moving.
They were moving. A lot of them were. They were on slicks. They were, these were on the higher end of the intermediate scale, I would say. They were on that run, because intermediate is a very wide band of people, right? So they were at the farther end of the bell curve into expert, right? Right. But that all being said, when I would get passed by one of these guys, I would try to mimic them and be in front of them and try to follow them in their line, but I would find myself falling behind. But the times or the couple turns or half a lap that I would do, just trying to look past them and just keep to my pace in my line and just look at where I need to be going the next, I would find myself ever so slightly either staying that same distance from them or inching, a little bit, maybe a tenth of a second, 2/10 of a, just a little bit extra, in terms of just my pace to keep up with them. So yeah, there's a lot to be said for that. It's our eyes, it's our vision. That's a good point. That's something that I definitely do need to work on as well, is vision and looking past. Yeah.
Looking past people.
Getting past people.
Every time I was in the front on my own, I felt really fast. And I don't know if just I don't have a reference, right? Because when you're by yourself,
yeah,
you probably feel fast,
too.
you know?
That's too, but no, there's a lot to be said for, a lot to be said for actually not paying attention to what's immediately in front of you, and obviously looking out, knowing where your next point of attack is, where your line is going to be.
Yep.
You know, turn 1, but I'm already looking at where I got to be for turn 2. Right, and then I'm in turn 2. I'm already looking at where I need to be for turn 3. That left-hander, you know what I mean? That goes into the bowl. So, yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, things to work on. We'll get more. The thing about the track is, I mean, it's probably like everything else. You just got to do it more. You know, if you want to be better, you just got to do it more. You're not going to be better by just sitting around. You're not going to make free throws by not practicing your free throws, you know?
You're not going to get better by just watching YouTube videos.
Right. You got to just do it. And I think, unfortunately, it's kind of expensive and it's far. So that kind of limits it a little bit how much we can practice. But, the more you come, the better you're going to get. And the more consistent, right? You can't just come 1 month and then 3 months later go back.
And getting the proper instruction too.
Yeah.
I kind of fell into that little trap too, but I mean, who cares? So I think when people first come to the track, there's an element of mastery of the machine versus, and I think this is my opinion, I take it for what it is. This is what I think. I think sometimes the folks that run the track, run track organizations and stuff like that, they're so intent on teaching you how to ride lines and, those type of techniques, versus a lot of the times people come to the track to try and better their relationship with the motorcycle. And I think there are only certain schools that really try to help you understand the motorcycle before they start teaching you lines, and because like that, that one track day at Palmer where I did those 2 track days at Palmer. They were so obsessed with us doing lines and understanding where our lines are, than talking to us about trail braking, body position, things of that sort. So it was, I don't know, because I think the first couple track days, it's you trying to master the motorcycle, or you trying to at least become more comfortable on a motorcycle at pace. Yeah. This is a scary thing to a lot of people because you're not used to it. There are no stop signs. There are no lights. And you are subjecting the motorcycle to things that a lot of people don't do daily, right? And their daily ride to work, or 110 on the straight. Oh shit, I've never done that before. Right. Then it's, oh my god, I got to brake now to the left hand, to turn 1, the left-hander. And it's like that. Then that bike is going to throw shapes. It's going to throw, that back wheel might lock up if they don't have, and there are a lot of things that I think that, should be worked on first and foremost. It's just like understanding the loads that you're subjecting the bike to, right? Like mastering the machine. And I think that's what it morphs to, because everybody wants to get that knee down the first day at their track day. I think to them, or to a lot of people, it's sort of like the calling card, or the badge of honor to say, yeah, I've mastered my machine. Meaning, like, I felt comfortable enough to drag knee, right? Put my body position to the point where I can drag knee and lean the bike over. So, and they were, and those instructors in particular, they were like giving people crap about that. And I'm like, you kind of can't, because that's how people's confidence, that's how you build confidence with people. A lot of the times it's like, oh my god, I can do it. I can do the knee down. so then it keeps people. Some people just get too cocky, but it just helps people get that extra step, having that confidence of understanding that, okay, I've not mastered, but I have accomplished, something with my motorcycle that, normally a lot of people don't do. And it helps as you progress, right?
A lot of that just comes with you just doing it.
Yeah.
Every day.
Do it.
Or as much as you can, really. Just keep.
No, we're not telling you to go drag me in the middle of the road.
Right. But just ride your bike.
Ride the bike.
My daughter's in soccer right now, and I'm like talking to the coach. I was like, hey, I just want her to be better. Like, what can I do at home? And she said, just have her have the ball on her at all times. Like, if she's watching TV, put the ball under her feet. Like, let her just play with the ball. If she's like just in the backyard, let her just kick the ball back and forth. Let her just. And I was thinking about that. That it's like everything else. Like, if you're just doing it, whatever you're doing, and again, not to his point, not to dragging on the road, but if you're just riding, you're thinking about your body position, you're like focused on it. Again, you're not focused on the line when you're on the road, but you're just focused on, okay, I'm outside, I'm hitting the apex, the apex on the road, whatever, without going over the line or whatever.
Understanding your road position,
right?
Where
but like,
are,
if you're really just riding and thinking about that a lot, it's gonna start coming to you.
Yeah.
Right? You're gonna be on the road, you're gonna be on the bike, you're gonna be on the track, you're gonna be like, okay, this is what my bike likes to do. And it's not gonna be a one-for-one correlation to the road, but
there are a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot that will come with you with
vision.
Riding.
Vision is number one. I think your vision is
that's key.
First and foremost, as we were talking before, on the road, your vision. Absolutely, it's that understanding. If like, okay, I'm on this road right now, right? I'm on my bike. I'm looking past and I'm trying to see, okay, what's the next turn? What hazard is up ahead? What car, whatever the case may be, I'm already looking way past, to the next 2-3 potential obstacles, turns, or whatnot, right? And that, again, as we said before, carries to the track. That's for number one, I think, is the vision. And then, road riding has a whole other suite of fine skills that good habits that you need, like proper road position on the road, ensuring that you're constantly visible to people. That dude in that hog last night, was it last night? Yeah. I don't know if it was last night or I forgot when. We were on the road going up. No, we were going to the track. There was a guy in the back. It was a I don't know. Maybe it was a Dyna. It was something, right? He was constantly positioned where in my periphery as a driver, I saw him. And I was like, that's perfect road placement, road position, because I know I have a motorcyclist right behind me at all times as I'm driving, right? And he did it right. He did it well. It's like those little things. Go for it.
Yeah, I think body position is going to be the thing I would work on more if I was riding on the street. Being on the balls of your feet.
Understanding
extending your arm.
Understanding that it's your head.
Yep.
You look through a turn. You look through. So if I want to make that right, I look past, right? I fall into being complacent on the street, and so you're not riding as hard. So I sometimes, I'm sitting there, I'm putting around, I'm just kind of just leaning it in, just getting by the turn. But if your focus is to get better, doing those little bit of things all the time will greatly increase your skill as you keep progressing in this. And I think that's some of the things I want to take away from today. I just need to be more focused, be more confident. The bike is now at some point I can't use the bike as an excuse, right? Yeah, no,
Last year there were some excuses, right? The bike was running like crap. It was hard to get on the throttle. Suspension was a little weird. I was still tinkering with some of the electrical gremlins, so it was a little off. But this year, so far, knock on wood, it's running well. And at some point, it's got to be the rider. So I think I just need to work on myself a little more.
Yeah,
I'm not pushing that bike to the limits that it can go, to the suspension that it has. I don't need to make any more adjustments outside of probably foot pegs or whatever. But it really is going to come down to me as a rider being better.
Yeah, I mean, same here, right? It's like we could talk about all the cool upgrades and goodies that we can put on the bike, like K-Tech suspension and this and that, and it's like, yeah, well, can you ride to the point where that bike can't handle your ability, right? And then you start thinking those upgrades, right? And then you'll know it, or somebody will tell you, or the bike will tell you at some point, right? So yeah, well, we got another one 2 weeks from now. We'll be back up here, good old upstate New York, and we'll see how it goes. And hopefully, I'll get Mary the Triumph resuscitated from the dead, because that's what she is right now. She's dead, and then we'll take it from there. So.
If not, BMW S1000. There we go.
The BMW will be coming up here. I kind of don't want to take it out because I have to get a new set of tires if I want to. And I already dropped a lot of money on tires for the Daytona. So.
Yeah, and I don't want you to regress either. Not regress in terms. Obviously, it's not regression in terms of bike. The bike is better, but in terms of now you're riding this bike on the track, and there's a lot of luxury that comes with the BMW that helps you on the track, And
speaking of luxury, speaking of luxury, what about the quick shifter, the going to GP shift?
Yeah,
I meant to say this. I find that downshifting with GP shift, I feel like I don't disrupt the bike as much as I am braking and trying to, braking, downshifting, and rev matching. There's some ergonomic reason, or there's something with the ergonomics of upshifting, clicking up and then doing all of those inputs to get, to get down a gear.
No, it's true. I was very scared of GP shift, just because I'm so used to riding one way, and I was like, I don't want to have to Everybody says the same way. Everybody says it. Now you just gotta rethink about. You gotta reprogram your brain to think that now you're shifting the opposite, right? And I didn't want to go through that, and I'm so happy I changed it, because the bike was much more compliant when I'm shifting. It was way crispier shifts. I'm starting to figure out that quick shifter is nice. I didn't get it, unfortunately, but a whole nother story. But I was starting to realize all I gotta do is just off the gas a smidge, off shift, and back on the gas. I don't even need to clutch it, nothing. Just off and switch real quick, and it was shifting very well. And to this point, the downshift, the bike wasn't getting out of character. Maybe it's because I'm still slower into doing it. But there's something to be said about downshifting and slamming it to drop a gear, where the bike kind of gets, versus you gotta kind of giving it up to pop it into second or first or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And the bike kind of just, it almost takes a second to do it. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just the better I get with it, maybe it'll go back to the regular.
I think for you and I to kind of say the same thing.
It was definitely better. I think
we kind of, discovered something with that, right? And by the second session, I was getting used to just downshifting and rev matching, right? And I was still getting on the brakes late into turn one off the straight, right? Because
it's true.
Because I was getting used to, hey, this is not bad. You can do this, man. And it worked. And I had one moment. I think I had one moment downshifting, but that was because the tires were cold. right? And I didn't do it, and I wasn't smooth on my little blip, and I think that. But then after that, I was fine. Tires were warm, everything else was kind of ready and rolling, and yeah. So
yeah, I don't want to go back. I'm gonna stay at GP shift.
Yeah, well,
my brain is already there.
I could flip. With those rear sets that I got for the BMW, I can flip it to GP.
I would keep it
GP.
Yeah, because you don't want to. There is something to be said about thinking about it, and if you're not thinking about it, you're riding better, right?
Yeah.
So if you're just doing that in the BMW and on the track bike, I think there's something to be said about
there is.
Having that it's like when you're driving a standard car.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about putting in clutch, putting it in second.
No,
that's like
nature.
Yeah, it's just happening, right? But if I was like, okay, now the clutch is on the right and the gas is on the left, now I gotta, then I get another car and it's the opposite, it's might screw me up.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely well worth it to switch it on the BMW.
Yeah. All right. I guess my last point with all this is when you were saying, like, at some point you can't blame the bike, and that's true. I would say that I think that's super true, right? I think there is a point where the rider needs to overcome the kind of just the apprehension of not doing what you're supposed to do on the track, right? And not doing what you're supposed to do on a motorcycle in general, and blaming the bike for doing what it's doing. Particularly a stock bike, a bike that's factory fresh, or just, you don't got much excuses because it's going to work the same way, right? You saw those expert level riders. They're like, we're grabbing any old bike and they're just swinging it, right?
Dude, what was that bike? The Suzuki SV? What was the one?
It's the SV650, or the Gladius, but it's basically SV650. Yeah.
And that guy took that thing out there, and he was passing everybody. And then he got on the Daytona, passed everybody again. Then he got on that moto, and literally it was all in the same session. He was just switching bikes, and he was passing everybody on every single bike. It did not matter to him. He was just a good rider.
Yeah,
and that's bike did not matter.
But that's obviously years of practice, right? Which,
I mean, he lives at the track.
Yeah, he lives at the track. But that's the point I wanted to make of, at some point we can't blame the bike, right? Now, granted, there are some things maybe mechanically, like we were talking about, that are legitimate, right? That brakes not necessarily working the way they should, or there are some things that probably do lend themselves to, like, us not actually riding the bike the way they should be, but especially with bikes like these that are worked on and tinkered with all the time. But yeah, no, absolutely the rider. We just can't be blaming the bikes, I don't want to be blaming the bike in June or July, right? So
I want to be blaming myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I want to not be blaming myself and just be faster.
Exactly.
Just be progressive.
About it. So, but yeah, so I think that we'll give this a wrap. We're about an hour out from home. So I'll post this up as a very long form spare tires episode.
Yep.
And then we'll take it from there. I think what I'll do is I'll put some of the B-roll of the track footage over this, and it's not just us yakking at each other for 45 minutes or 50 minutes. So we'll.
You don't have to see my stupid face.
I'll put mine too. My fucking hair looking like I freaking spent a night in a freaking dryer. I'll put some of the track footage up. And you also got PJ too. So I'll put the track footage up, and then we'll take it from there. And then hopefully we'll come back in 2 weeks with a vengeance, ready to take on that track and the way it should be.
Yep.
So, all right. Later, guys.
See ya.